if anybody ever asked me, like, what was your parents like? My parents? um, yeah. The best ever. I got both sides because what they didn't realize, and then I'm of course probably growing up, I'm like 4 or 5. You know, God was gonna use one of them, and then for the most part, if he's involved in it, he usually used my mama. He did. Um, but she also, to be fair, um, it was a situation where she still had to realize someday that her husband was the godly head of the household, and she usually, well, she was put in a position where her mother like knew about Jesus, and we went to church over and over again, and she was kind of stuck in the middle, and then she had sisters and things like that. But the strongest woman I've ever known in my life, my mama. Yeah. If the question is, you know, she's still that way. You know, she's highly intelligent, and where she has eggs in a basket and things like that. What do you really think that, based on what the Pope is talking about, would you compare her to? I'll tell you like this. What the Pope is talking about, he has no fucking idea. But knowing her, and I told her who exactly she is, and she denied all of it. She said, "No, I'm not." She just thinks that she's an individual woman that, you know, has responsibilities. She doesn't actually look at her actions, why she does certain things. If she came up to me and I'd be like, well, the Holy Spirit told you to do that, and you just do it automatically. Like you're just, honestly, I don't hate your husband. I love him with all my heart, but sometimes I want to punch him in the face. And she'd be like, "Don't do that." So, and then I've had those thoughts, but he's my dad, so I usually just shut up and whatever he has to say. It's the equivalent of, we're about to go to a restaurant, right? So automatically, who decided? It's wild. It's like, who decided we're gonna go to this restaurant? Who? You. You decided this? I'm like, we're gonna. It turns into, who told you when we're gonna go to? He's just like, we're gonna go to this restaurant. No, fine. Like, I'm a little dude, so fine. Look at my mom, and my mom's like, we talked about this. We're gonna for our family. It turns into a whole tumultuous. Shut up! It just, we're in a car, and we go to home country buffet, right? And my mom looks at everybody. She's if you even, all of us kind of know that she's really saying, it's me and my sister, basically. And I'm probably messing with my sister. You better be cool. And then we get out, okay? And then we split up. It's the weirdest thing that ever happens. Like, we walk in, right? And then we get plates. That's the first thing we do. We get plates. We sit them down at the table, and all of us just split up. My pops is doing whatever he's doing. My mom is usually salad. I think I want a salad. Heather is just at the ice cream machine, and then me, I'm sitting there like trying to figure out how my mom makes this perfect plate because she does. So then I end up next to my dad. My dad is usually he's in some chicken thing or I'm sitting there macaroni, put that on the plate. Right? So I'm messing with her, but my mom, she usually just sits there. Whatever she's thinking about, no one knows, but this goes on the plate. And she comes back with a ice timer so I could sit right in front of her when she would get back to the table. And she put one plate there, and okay. It's like, all right. I normally got 3 plates. Okay. Because I just wouldn't, I don't eat that much. So, okay. Heather's sitting there and like, this thing is coming out of frozen yogurt machine, and then now she has a little bowl and she sits down. I'm looking at Heather like it's not the last time I'm gonna see her. Who told you to do that? We're not even like I'm just looking at her. And then now I'm going to a buffet of well, my salad didn't turn out like that. And then I would get chicken, and then my dad would be sitting there. He did not until he. I had no idea what he was doing. To be honest, like you'd have to ask him. I had no idea because he wasn't like a part of like the meal. Usually he was doing something. I had no fucking clue, bro. To be real, I've seen him a couple times. Like I tried to shadow him when he was picking up like meal pieces that he was gonna put on the plate. I whatever he was doing, I haven't graduated to that level. I had no idea. But I tried to like kind of shadow for a bit, and then I'd be like, all right, well, there was pizza, and there was also uh, some type of thing that I was focused on at the time. Whatever he was doing, it was too much for the plate. That's what I'd say. But it was well cooked, I guess. Um and then, I'd make a plate, and my mom, she pretty much would sit down. She had her perfectly. I still do not know how she does what she does. Her plate was just, you know, I followed her. Like I had a plate, okay, bacon bits and a salad and all that. My mom exquisitely just made. She just no one understands why she is so intelligent. Like I have not figured out like how she just is. So if somebody asked me or the Pope said something, I grew up with her, and she's actually um very respected in the United States Army, and has certain and my dad too. So no, she can make a really a good salad. She probably would not even. Can you imagine, like, if she actually? She doesn't care. So it'd be like, if the Pope stood in front of her, she'd probably call her mom. Like, you, what is this? Because I have. So, no, jeez. I have no idea. Like, she's a superhero to me. I haven't, because she would just, Michael, come here. What? Usually, that thought process, and she'd be like, hey, yeah. So, do you want to go to the Sylvan Learning Center? No, not really. But you should. Why? So you got to think about her, like her entire thought process, who she was raising, and then it's either this or go to Florida. And then, yeah, see my grandparents. I'm good with that. So you don't want to go to the youth center this month. The fact that I even had a chance, a choice. No, I don't like it there. But what's going on? What is happening? You have to get out of Washington. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to go see someone that I know? Mm, mm, yeah. Whatever you want. Okay. Not Cindy. No, not Cindy. Sister that I grew up with. Oh. Mm. So I went there. Apparently, my mother made friends with. What would you think about that? I think that um Paso Robles. Yeah. Um Angie. Um I She was very kind. And my mom doesn't usually have friends. She doesn't usually reach out to people. But Angie was very kind. And then you know, I bet that there's probably money in the suitcase before I even got there. But what I think is it was fun. We went to it was kind of like, yeah, raging uh rapids, or it was, we were sitting there on a hill, right? And it's me, Angie, Rusty, and we're like, I'm bringing actually a bad influence. That's how I felt, because I came from an inner city, so they had no idea like what was going on. But and then I was able to drive. So we Atascadero, I think, slow. So like I learned about that part and it was fine. I think I don't have much time to keep rambling, but I hope that when somebody asks and they think about Mother Mary or they think about Joseph, I hope that they get the clear picture and that God chose them. You know, I hope that they understand it too.